I got a $600 silk leisure suit, nigga. I'm 14 years old. I'm in a silk leisure suit. Like grown men wanted to dress like this, So I'm really fucked up, and I got to figure something out. So then I get a call from Butter, and he's on 154th between McCombs and 8th. And now this is now summer '85. I've been fucked up pretty much all winter, and fucked up relative to what I was accustomed to, right? Because I'm still being taken care of. I still live in my mother's house. I'm still being taken care of, but I'm not getting my own money. And he calls me and says, "Yo, where you at?" I said, "Mom, I'm on 115th Street." He said, "I'm over here." I said, "I'm over here on Madison Ave, 115th Street at Foster." I was with my girl Lisa. He said, "Yo, come up here, man. I got a nigga up here that want to fight." I said, "Where you at?" He said, 154th. Not what happened, who is it, what's going on, what you do, none of that. Where you at? He goes, "I'm on 154th Street." I said, "I'm on my way." I knew he saw someone on 154th. I said, "I'm on my way." So I go, hop in a cab, shoot uptown, get up there, get to the building, walk in the building like he's standing I think he's standing out front. Walk in the building. We walk upstairs to the second floor, walk inside the spot. It's a crack spot. Walk inside the spot, and I step in and I go, "Where you at?" And there was Butter, a guy named Mo, and he had a dog, one of the Spud McKenzie pits with the rounded face, named Buck. Big, brolic, Hulk-looking motherfucking pit named Buck. And then there's this guy, tall, black, like a gorilla, big pink lip hanging, long ass lanky arms, about, a few inches taller than me, broad shouldered, just a real gorilla looking motherfucker, right? So I walk in, I go, "Where you at?" And Butter goes to turn because I walk into the apartment, I look and it's a room right here, he's in the room. And I look, I walk in and I say, "Where you at?" And he go, "I'm right here." And I walk right up to him. And as soon as I walk up to him, he swings. Naturally, I duck, body blow, body blow, body blow. And nigga folds like a fucking shirt in the Chinese laundromat. Boop, 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 boop. Smock, smock. And then I hear the nigga in the back with the dog go, "Get him, Buck." I turn around and I move. Motherfucking dog hits the nigga. Whop! Start ragging him. Now he was there already when I got there. And this is his stepbrother's spot. Big Boo and Steve. This is their spot. And he worked with them. They're all from Polo Grounds. So I'm like, when we talking later on, I'm like, why didn't you just, if you was going to do that, why didn't you just let the dog on him? You know what I mean? Like, before I knocked his ass out, why you just let the dog go on him? If that's what you're going to do. He said, "No, I was just holding the dog. I was just going to see what happened." Like, Butter told me he's calling his brother and all that, whatever. So I said, "Okay, if this nigga come up here and he front, he just talking, whatever, this and other, I'm going to let Buck go on his ass." So he's waiting to hold the dog to let the dog go on me or whoever it was that was showing up. And, of course, I did what I do the way I do it. And he goes, like, we got bonded instantly on that. We got bonded instantly on that. And from that point, the nigga's like, "Yo, this nigga real with it. You're real with it. Yo, you gotta be down with us. You gotta be down with us." And that's how I came on as an enforcer with their crew. And of course, I end up, matriculating into the system and showing them that I do more than just beat people the fuck up. You know what I mean? And so I don't even remember, that shit go. I don't even remember how I got it. I knew he was talking about Anthony. I knew he was talking about being fucked up and what I had to do to get back on. That put me back on. Oh, okay. All right. I get it. I remember now. So when I go and rock with them, I rock with them for like the whole summer, 85, 86. I meet their connect. They was getting work from Lulu. Lulu is the character they mentioned in Paid in Full, the Dominican dude, right? I lived on 157th Street with your brother and his mother and the rest of the kids, right? I lived between Amsterdam and Monroe, 157th Street. Lulu had a pool room at the corner, 157th Street, right before you get to what ended up being Club 2000 some years later. And so I don't know how I found out that was who they was getting their work from. I don't remember how, but I found out that's who they was getting their work from, whatever. And I started fucking with Lulu, by way of Wani, and who was a Dominican kid from the neighborhood, whatever. And so come 86, I start fucking with them. I catch my first case in that apartment, right? My first drug case. And that story is crazy. Y'all got to read Raised by Wolves. That's a crazy fucking story. I jumped from, remember this, I was on a second floor apartment, but if you're in the backyard, it's 3 stories up from the backyard. I jumped out of a 3-story fucking window with an arm full of fucking cracks, and niggas came busting in the door. With an arm full of cracks. To the front, saw me out the window, and flung up shits like this. And fortunately for me, the garbage, people, nasty ass, man. Motherfuckers that throw garbage out the back window? Motherfuckers had thrown so much garbage out the back window that it was like 6 feet of garbage. 6 feet of fucking garbage. So I landed in that. I landed it, I landed feet first on top of that. And the rest, motherfuckers had to read. It's mad funny. But that's how I caught my first case. And when I caught that case, these motherfuckers, Boo and Steven, they didn't send me no lawyer. So when I go, they take me down to the precinct down on, I think it's the 20, I forgot, it's the one that's between Amsterdam and Broadway, 126th Street, by the projects over there. And they take me there, then they take me downtown, and a couple hours later, I go off to court. I get in the courtroom, there's nobody there. So they gave me a release on my own recognizance, right? Because why? Because I speak very well. That's it. Because of the way I articulated myself. They were like, you don't belong in here. You don't belong in here. Return your own cognizance. You don't belong in here. And they let me go with no bail, fortunately, because there was nobody to get me. So naturally, what I do, I went straight up to the motherfucking spot. Yo, open up. Went to the spot, took everything. Took all the money. Yeah, tell them niggas to, holler at me. I'm going to take a couple of days off. And from that point forth, I started planning my escape. And I write all about that in the book, whatever. But when I finally left, I go to the Bronx, back to the Bronx. And I open up on Sherman and 166th Street at a building called 1060. And this is what I was talking about when I started telling the story. I go from doing, well, firstly, I need somebody to work with me, right? I need a worker. But I don't want nobody that, based upon the experience I had the previous year, I don't want nobody that has already been running around, because I found that those people had developed bad habits. They developed bad habits. Like whoever introduces you to the game, they're going to infect you with their practices, their habits, and their attitude. And most motherfuckers were being infected with some nasty shit. So I wanted somebody who was fresh, hadn't fucked around, so I could teach them the way that I know it's supposed to be done. So I reach out to Anthony that I was talking about earlier, brother's uncle, the one who I got this connect Roger from. Anthony's younger brother, Tyrone. Peaceful journey, Tyrone. Peaceful journey, Anthony. Peaceful journey, brother. And I say, yo, I need somebody to work. And of course, he's like, oh, me. I'm like, no. And the reason was because I was like, I watched your mother go through what she went through burying your brother. And I would never want to subject her or have anything to do with subjecting her to that experience again. So, no, I'm not you. Got to be somebody else. And so he recommended this kid that used to go to school with us, who was his friend, but they're younger than me. So when I was in the 7th grade, they were like in the 5th. And so, and we all went to the same private school because the private school was in the lower part of his grandmother's building. And his mother was our music teacher. So he recommends John. John is green. He's from 58th Street between Amsterdam and Grove. So he lived right around the corner from me. He went to school with us, whatever. And he was green. He didn't know shit. So I'm going to train him to be the way I need him to be so that he can stay alive, stay healthy, stay free, and we get money. So he brings John. I put John on. And, you know, we start rocking. And we doing like, when I say we start rocking, I mean, well, before I brought on John, I actually had my cousin Tisha's Loon's sister, a guy she ended up marrying. But one day the police, what I used to do, I had this apartment, right, that back in the days when people didn't pay their rent, the marshals would come and they would put a padlock on the outside your shit. You know, you put the big slide bullshit, boom, put the padlock on the joint. You come home, you can't get in. And so this is 106 is a huge, huge building. So what I did was I went and got the same exact type of lock and slide that they use, and I put it on and I would lock him inside. So when the police came, it's like, boom, 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 open the door. Like, well, how would the person open the door? Ain't nobody gonna be in there selling no drugs, locked in an apartment. That's what their mentality. Ain't nobody gonna be inside an apartment selling no fucking drugs, right? So, and I don't know, should I share this? Or should I share this? So the way that they would dispense the work, I took I don't know if there's a point of reference for this in the contemporary times, but seat poles for the bike, right? Seat pole for a bike back in the days was an aluminum pole about that thick around. And, you know, probably about maybe 12 inches or something like that, right? And so you put your seat on it, put it on the bike, and you adjust it for your height, whatever, right? So I took the pole and I cut a hole in the top of the pole at one end. And then on the end the hole is cut in, I took a lock, the face of a lock. You stick the key in, but just the face part of it, and that key, that, you know, that round piece you screw in. And I had that soldered to the end of the pole. And then I stuck the pole through the lock hole in the door. So on my side, it's a pole sticking out with this slot in it. And on the other side, looking at the front, at the door, it's just a lock. And when people would come and knock on the door, and I'd have to walk them up there and have knock on the door, because they wouldn't think they see a padlock on the door. Everybody knows that means that this apartment is empty. This somebody's locked out their shit. So they knock on it. I say, go ahead, knock on it. They're like, knock on it. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Nobody can be in there, because how can they gonna get out? So you knock on the door. Yo, what you want? Give me 2, whatever. And the lock pops out, slides out. Put your money in. You put the money in the slide it back, take the money out, put the work in, slide it back out. You don't know who just made this sale to you. You have no idea who just sold this shit to you. So one, that's security, because you can come as the person behind that door. You can come in and out this building, and nobody knows unless they see you go in that apartment. Nobody knows that you're the one that's making the sales. You're like an invisible person. So you can come out with money and go on with work, and nobody can say, "Yo, that's him right there," to the police or stick up again, because nobody knows. It's a huge building with like, I don't know, 80 apartments in it, some shit like that. 6 stories and 2 sides and 2 staircases, a huge fucking building. So before I put John in there, I put this guy that ended up marrying my cousin in there. And one day the police come, and we're both in there. So we grab the work, grab the money, right? Scrambling, run out, go out on the fire escape, go up to the roof, go across the roof, and come down on the other side of the building. Whole other side of the building, you know how those buildings are. Whole other side of the building, it's like 2 buildings mashed together with one long hallway, but 2 staircases on the other side. So we just come on out and walk out casually, whatever, and no problem. So when we get to mommy's house, I say, okay, we count the money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we count the work. 10 bottles missing. Why would there be 10 bottles missing? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. I'm like, that's weird. And I'm standing there thinking, wait a minute, hold on, bro. Empty your pockets, bro. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to believe that my man, this nigga name was Sean. I didn't want to believe my man would do this. And he's, he's a square kid. He used to think he was Jerome Harris's son. His name was Sean Harris. He used to think he was Jerome Harris's son. I don't know why he thought that, but he was under that impression. Jerome Harris, for those who don't know, he was a major player from Harlem back in the days. I think Jerome I don't know if he's I think he was from Harlem. I know him from Harlem. And so he empties his pockets, and my joints come out of his pocket. So naturally, Mom! And I knocked him out in mommy's kitchen, right? So he goes and tells my aunt, and he tells my cousin, whatever. Of course, Kabari is an animal. I'm an animal, right? Oh, he's such an animal. He's an animal. So now I need somebody else, right? So that's when I hit Ty, and Ty said, yeah, John. After I said, not you. He said, all right, John. So he sent me John. I bring John. So now, we're just getting this shit started. So it's now winter, 86. It's hitting 12 degrees, 5 below, freezing. So this is the, 40 below weather. This is when 40 belows, niggas start rocking 40 belows. When I say niggas start rocking 40 belows, I mean, me. Niggas was not wearing 40 belows. I mean, niggas could argue that if they want to, but I got pictures. Niggas wasn't rocking 40 belows. Niggas wasn't rocking Timbs. And we was rocking Timbs in 80. Me and my cousins rocking Timbs in the 1980. Niggas was rocking Timbs. We had been rocking them. You see pictures of us with Timbs on that's dogged. Wheats, that's dogged in 80. I mean, we been had them. So it's dead winter. Fucking freezing. And we're doing it's about a dozen fucking crack spots all around us. Everybody got crack spots. Dominicans had a crack spot on Sheridan, 1 block up between 166 and it'll come to me. The other shit. Not 167, it's another street. So
I had heard.
no, this is the Bronx.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
talking about
Sheridan. Yeah, it's a Sheridan. Sheridan between Sheridan 166 between 166th Street and it'll come to me. Who knows? Tina know what street I'm talking about. What up, Trey? Tina knows what street I'm talking about. Mini Bob. What up, JR 809 LES? Tina know what street am I talking about? Krill's Ethos. What street am I talking about, Tina? Thomas Grant, 40, what's happening? Yeah, I see we in the building. TNYO, what's happening? TNYO Dane. This Ja, what's up, Ja? So, White Flame, V2.0.1 rather. So, Crizito said, you talking close to home, Bob. So, it's mad competition, bro. But the work I got is fire. Who am I getting it from? This is before Maximo. This is before Maximo. Maximo's going to give me La Reina, the queen, the shit that came from Medellin. I don't remember who I was getting this work from, but it was damn good. I was getting a hell of a price. And my cooking skills was ridiculous because remember, I had been cooking since I was like, T taught me to cook when I was 14. So the word crack hadn't even been introduced yet. So I learned to cook in 82. And I was making these dimes, but my dimes were like the size, twice the size of everybody else's dimes. My dimes were twice the size, literally. No cut, twice the size. And fire. So we started out doing like maybe 10 bottles a day. I'm standing outside for 12 hours in 20 degrees, 10 bottles a day. Can't spend no money. Can't spend no money. Need every dime. Can't even afford to spend money for a cab. So when the day was over, me and John, I live 57th Street, he lived 58th Street. We live in Washington Heights. So we got to go, cross the bridge, up the viaduct, onto Amsterdam, whatever, like. And I was like, yo, we walking. 20 degrees. We walking. Not spending no money. Not spending no money, nigga. Because we're going to get there. Some days we wouldn't even eat. One day, we both threw up from exhaustion and hunger. True fucking story. And remember now, I started sharing this because I'm talking about the process of building things and what it takes and why most people never do it, which is why most people don't know what it actually takes and thus have no respect for the process. They want to skip straight to the we balling, we BMF, which is why people believe fallacies that aren't grounded in reality, like Kevin Childs started Don Diva. How would he have done it? He's in prison. He has no money. He does not write. He doesn't get any ads. Like all the things it would take to do it, the process. He's in no position to do it. He doesn't have his liberty and he doesn't have any resources. So how would he have started it? And why do you believe that? You all know Don Diva started in 2099, December 99. So, and he didn't get out of jail till 2003 if you know anything about him, which you mostly don't. So how did a magazine that blew up, 3 years before he came home, how did he start it? Like, what was the process he went through to start it? It's a critical question. Motherfuckers never asked it. They just automatically just said, oh yeah, Kevin Johnson. Really, how? It's because motherfuckers have never gone through a process of building anything, legit or otherwise. So in, say, 2 months, start doing, the words start getting out. Because like I said, there's mad competitors, bro. Mad competitors. It's a spot a block in every direction. It's a spot. 2. Every direction around us. We 2 blocks away from Walton and 165th Street. It's a goddamn drug bazaar. You can get everything over there from egg, sage, hash to, bundles of dust, dope, coke, like it's a fucking virtual, you know, what they call that shit, flea market, a drug flea market. So we in that, and this is '86. This is when it starts opening up, and prices, if you know somebody, prices is starting to come down a bit. So there's like maybe 10% of the people in the street who are tapped into situations, especially the Hispanic guys, because the Dominicans are getting all their coke from the Colombians who are all set up in Queens. And it's because the Colombians don't speak English and don't know how to deal with, you know, people outside their culture, whatever. And the Dominicans, they speak Spanish, you know, and although the Colombians don't like them, they speak Spanish, and they're able to get into or are already in black neighborhoods, right? So that's how the Dominicans got tapped in. And so I'm competing with that. So what am I doing? Well, I'm going from, you know, I got him in an apartment just sitting there, and I'm going